What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, he's doing.
You're listening to the Baseball Goombas. I'm John Goomba with Chris Goomba.
Chris Goomba.
Today is March 11th, 2018. This is our first ever podcast episode 1.
Uno.
We're basically going to be going over today the holes, or potential holes in the Mets and Yankees rotations. For the Mets, it's really those 4 and 5 spots. And for the Yankees, it's that number 5 spot because recent reports have been saying that Chad Green
should be taking the 5th spot in the rotation.
So currently, the way the rotation looks right now, you have Severino, Tanaka, Gray, Sabathia, and that 5th spot is filled by Montgomery. But like I just said, people are saying that Chad Green really deserves a spot in the starting rotation.
Which is absolutely insane. Okay? It's absolutely insane. A successful 2018 Yankees, Chad Green needs to be in the bullpen. There's no question about it. Why are you guys going to get cute and play around with success? So far, spring training, 2 appearances, 5 innings, 9 strikeouts. I'll repeat that. 5 innings, 9 strikeouts.
His Ks per 9 are insane.
Picking up right where he left off from last year. Last year, 39 relief appearances, undefeated at 5-0. 67 innings, 161 ERA, 74 WHIP, and whiffing 100.
So I actually looked at those numbers too, but I was looking at career numbers, which are very similar. Just he had a couple more relief appearances the year before, and again 5-0, but his ERA is even lower at a 1.41. And in the 43 games, he threw for 76 innings. So you're almost getting 2 innings per appearance out of this guy. So he's giving you quality relief innings right now at a 1.41 ERA, which is incredible.
And you want to take that out of the bullpen and put it in a rotation for a guy that did pretty damn well for a rookie in Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he didn't go land deep into games, but he pitched pretty well for a rookie. And
he's your 5 starter. Let's not forget. He's not
an ace.
He's not put your ace numbers, but last year, I mean, for a 5 starter to start 29 games, so you're getting good quality innings out of this guy. To go 9-7 with a 3.88 and 144 Ks, I mean those are pretty incredible numbers to get, not out of a 5 starter, but also a rookie 5 starter.
What I don't understand is risking injury first and foremost. If he's going to be tossed back and forth, let me just remind everyone of a little story I like to bring up. Jabba Rules.
There he is.
You remember that guy?
Played with that guy.
Mr. Jabba Chamberlain.
Ruined
Yankees ruined his career.
Thank
you, John Goomba.
You're welcome, Chris Goomba.
Will he start? Will he relieve? How many times are we going to go back and forth with this? He went on to KC. He had pretty much two dominant seasons. Started his career with the Yankees. And then the talent, the flamethrower just fizzled out. I mean, he went to Detroit. He went to KC. He went to Cleveland. And nobody ever heard of him. Because the Yankees ruined his career.
Yeah.
So, do you really want to do that? Make the same mistake twice with Chad Green? Me, no. And Boone and the Yankees shouldn't either. Remember the wild card game last year against the Twins?
Operation Save Severino.
Yeah, out. Severino recorded. Out. Girardi, gutsy called to bring in Green, and look what happened. Immediately struck on the next 2 batters to limit the damage and keep the Yankees in the game, which they wound up winning.
Yeah. Took them all the way to the ALCS.
Speaking of the ALCS,
yep.
Houston Astros, the eventual World Series champions. Relentless lineup. Dominating lineup from top to bottom, 1 to 9. In that ALCS, he failed to allow a run, appeared in 3 more games, striking out 7. So
at least 2 innings per appearance. Game 1, 2 innings, 0 earned runs. Game 4, 2 innings, 0 earned runs, and Game 6, 2 1/3 0 earned runs. Lights out stuff coming out of the pen against one of the best lineups, if not the best lineup in baseball.
So he's also trying to develop a changeup to keep hitters off balance from his power stuff. So imagine if that comes to fruition. I mean, he'll be even more unhittable, more video game numbers, and he's only 26 years old. He's never really swayed from the big moment at all.
No, not at all.
Which that leads me to believe also that he's possibly the closer in waiting. If you think about it, D-Rob, he ain't getting any younger.
Nope.
He tends to give up the big hits here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Betances, free agent after the 2019 season.
He's a wild card too.
Shaky stuff in the second half of last season.
It's an understatement. He was rough to watch all over the place.
Walking the ballpark.
Yeah.
Girardi brought him in to get some mop-up duty just to give him some confidence in the 7th or 8th inning in a 10-2, 10-3 game. And he winds up grand slam. And all of a sudden it's 10-8. And here comes Chad Green to mop up and get the Yankees straight. Yep. So Chapman just turned 30th. Celebrated his 30th birthday. All those years of him lighting up the scoreboard, throwing 100+, that you got to believe that's got to catch up to him down the line. So Chad Green has potential after this season, I think, to cement his status as the modern day Mo Rivera. He could be a lights out all time Yankee great.
Especially if he gets an extra pitch. And it's not like he hasn't had experience as a starter before. It's a small sample, but he has had 9 starts. And in those 9 starts, he's 2-4 with an ERA over 6. So I don't know why you would want to mess with a guy who's, even though it's a small sample, has an ERA over 6 when he's just been absolutely lights out in the bullpen with almost 2 innings per appearance. He's the kind of guy you want at the back end.
I'm sure deep down inside he's itching to be a starter again, and that's just how the baseball pitchers are wired. They want to be in the starting rotation.
Absolutely.
But he needs to be in the bullpen, and I think he's aware of that's where he's most valuable. Starter CC Sabathia, he's 37 now. Mm-hmm. He's got to finesse his way through starts. The number 5 starter, which you mentioned, Montgomery, he does have trouble going deep into games last year.
I feel like he's earned it.
He has earned it.
I feel like
he's earned it. Reports from last year say he's Mandy Pettit 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, veteran Tanaka, he's Jekyll and Hyde, not knowing if you're going 7 innings, 1 run, or 1 inning, 8 runs.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray, I mean, he got it done with the A's.
He was an ace for the A's. He's got the stuff.
He also has trouble staying in starts. He's coming in for his first full season as a Yankee. Mm-hmm. All of this really means Green is more valuable as a dependent, reliable arm out of the bullpen.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a hard-nosed reliever. My only other question, between Montgomery and Chad Green, what about Justice Sheffield? Do you think he deserves a chance, or is he still a little too young?
I think he deserves a chance, but right now I think he needs to get a little more seasoning in AAA.
That's fair.
He was in AA last year, and this spring he struggled. I think high 11 ERA, which is pretty high.
Yeah.
But
he's still young.
He's very young.
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right in the long run. Mm-hmm. I'm totally fine with Montgomery over Justice for now.
Yeah, let him learn.
Let him learn in AAA and see, trade deadline if he needs to be brought up, September call-up, see if he needs to be brought up. But listen, the Yankees, they're already experimenting with rookie manager Aaron Boone. I don't think they should experiment with Chad Green as well and mess with that success. So leave him in the damn bullpen.
Especially with what you said with Jabba Chamberlain. They've done this experiment before, and it was horrific. What they did to that guy. So
I'm still mad at myself for not getting a Jabba Rule shirt, but that's another topic for another day.
So the Mets, on the other hand, they have a little bit of a different situation where they have about 7 guys going for the 4 and 5 spot.
I hear that.
Top 2 guys are Noah DeGrom. You can flip-flop them any way you want. They're still going to be your 1 and 2. You basically have 2 aces on this team when Noah's healthy.
I think Noah's going to come back healthy.
Yeah.
Last year, even though he got hurt, 7 starts, he still had 30-plus strikeouts. Minuscule ERA 2.97.
And what he's doing, and early in spring training, he's just mowing. He's right back where he left off. Yeah, the 7 straight outing really just solidified that he's ready to go. DeGrom, last year, 200 innings. He's just a consistent pitcher. You get 200 innings out of him. Hopefully, you get a low 3 ERA out of him. He's a grinder.
15 wins, a mediocre Mets team last year.
It's true. Yeah, mediocre. Harvey, he's going to get his chance. I mean, coming in this spring training, his last 2 seasons have been rough. But before yesterday's outing in spring, he had a 180 ERA. He got roughed up a little bit by the Yankees. Now it's a little over 5. But they know the ceiling on Harvey. His first 3 seasons, his ERA was under 3. So and it wasn't until that thoracic outlet syndrome that really just put him on the shelf, and he
put him under the bus a little bit.
The more I read about it, the more I see that it's a 2-year recovery. Like, you come back, but your body's still not there, and which is probably a big reason why he couldn't find the strike zone last year. His release point was all over the place, and when he did find the strike zone, it was right down the middle.
I think he lost some of his muscle. From where he was.
He did look skinny last year.
He was very buff and muscular in the World Series run in the following year, and then I would say last year he
lost a couple
pounds.
He lost a couple miles an hour on his fastball too. But the 4 or 5 spot is really just a jump ball for the entire team. Basically, you have contending. You have Seth Lugo, Robert Gazelman, Steven Matz, Zach Wheeler, Jason Vargas, and if you want to get crafty, you can say Rafael Montero. But I really feel, personally, that the 4 and 5 spot should go to Lugo and Gazelman, respectfully.
Why, though?
So the other two, Matz, Wheeler, and Vargas are really your only other arguments. So Lugo and Gazelman, I feel... So going back to the 2016 Wild
Card... Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but Montero's had options, no?
Yes, he is, but...
They don't want to lose him.
No, you get out.
So you throw him in the bullpen?
That's the other option. You might put him in your bullpen. He could be your long man, which he's done in the past. And he's served as... Because he really doesn't get hurt. He was actually started I think he was the top 3 started games last year, top 3 or 4. So, he's a guy that you could throw out there in desperate need. So he can be a long man, but I think Met fans are done with him. We've had enough of the Montero experiment and how this guy's a top prospect. It is what it is with him. But just going back to the 2016 wild card run, when we had injuries in the staff, there were about 3 moves that helped make the run. One was Lugo coming into the rotation, one was Gazelman coming into the rotation, and one was Reyes. As much as that hurts me, Reyes was a huge part of making that run. Really, we had no right being in the playoffs that year, but they really helped us make that run to squeak into the wild card. But Gazelman, coming late into the season, had 8 starts and was 4-2 with a 2.42 ERA, and he threw 5 innings each of his outings. So he was 2.42 ERA. Kid coming from the minors was dealing. Really helped us make that push to get into the playoffs. Lugo, very similar scenario. 8 starts, 5-2, 2.67. He was 5-1 as a starter. It's the same situation. When you really look at, and both of these guys in spring have been doing well. They really haven't had a bad outing yet. I mean, I've been seeing that Gazelman's sinker is starting to have a lot of bite on it again. It's coming down and in or right-handed hitters, and they can't touch it. 2017.
For Gazelman, disaster.
Hold on, for everybody. For everybody. When you look at, I mean, Harvey Matz had ERAs over 6. You had Gazelman ERA of 5.19, and Lugo was apparently dealing with the 4.7. So Matz in 15, you had the Matz fever. This kid comes up, his debut gets 4 RBIs, goes 3 for 3. He goes 4-0 in 6 games. I mean, everybody's stoked for some Steven Matz. But then you start getting the I don't even want to call them injuries. I'll call them ailments. Which, again, Met fans are getting a little tired of. 15-day DL with shoulder tightness. 10-day DL with elbow inflammation. We've had enough. Get out there and throw the football. Throw the ball, Matz.
He's still only 24 years old, though.
He's a kid. So
again, last year it was a disaster for everyone, like you said, everybody. Did that play into some of his quote-unquote ailments? Did he check out a little bit?
He might. See, that's the.
Did the team check out?
He kind of gives the demeanor of where he's just fed up and kind of quits. He's always sighing. He just gives the demeanor like he's just fed up, which I don't blame him when you're pitching this terribly.
I still think he has pretty good upside.
He does. That's the reason why I feel like so I want Lugo and Gazelman, but I feel like Matz will make the starting rotation because he does have, and we've seen it, quality stuff and the best potential, especially being a lefty.
I hear you on the Gazelman and Lugo. I think Seth Lugo is a nice piece to have in the bullpen. He has trouble going through the order 3 times.
Yep. A lot of these guys do, actually.
Wheeler can't seem to stay healthy. Me personally, how about Vargas?
So Vargas, I'll do a quick little breakdown on Vargas because Vargas is gonna make the rotation.
The guy won 18 games last year.
So
18 games.
So one thing about Vargas, you just signed him to 2 years, $16 million. He's gonna make the rotation.
Right.
You didn't just sign him to not
mentor
play.
Mentor the bullpen.
So during his 12-year career, what I've noticed that he's thrown on over 150 innings 6 times. So he's had 6 quality pitching seasons.
He's an innings eater.
He's an innings eater. So during those 6 seasons, his best ERA was 3.71. His worst was a 4.25. And last year
is that not respectable in Major League Baseball?
Last year his All-Star year was a 4.16, but he was clearly dealing in the first half. So basically, what you know what you're getting with Vargas. You're gonna get 160 innings and call it a 4 ERA.
So 2 words: stability and dependability.
So that is.
Isn't that what the Mets are looking for?
This is a great. I feel like this is a great insurance policy because if you can get 4 ERA at 160 innings, that's great. He's a good backup bet. But your ceilings are too high on these other guys to just go out of the gate using your safety net. You're going into opening day saying, "No, we're going to use our safety net and just not use Mats or Gazelle." Like we're going to put our 20-whatever-year-old in the pen because we have this 35-year-old now because he's safe.
But for 2+ years now, all the Mets fans, including yourself, are crying over injuries and who can't go deep into here.
That's why we went out and got this guy. He's like a clone.
Throw him in the rotation. You know what you're gonna get out of him.
I know what you're
gonna get at least 12 to 14 wins, stability, innings eater, strikeouts.
So I think that's why the Mets fans would have rather seen them go after a Lance Lynn, who's also an inning
eater. Who just signed the Twins.
Yeah, but he's got more upside and he's younger, and I just feel like he fit into the mold more than a aging Jason Vargas. Because now you're hurting your young staff. Well, we harped this staff, our rotation in the minors. This is gonna be it. We're gonna have 7 aces, and now you're bringing in a 35-year-old to lock up a spot.
So again, Gazelman, I know you were for Gazelman in the rotation.
I am.
But last year, to me, he was a disaster.
He was a disaster.
5.19 ERA, 1.5 WHIP, career ERA of 4.44. Yes, he hasn't had a lot of starts under his belt, but he'd be my best bet to land in Vegas and get stretched out down there in case he's needed. Like I said, Lugo has problems 3rd time through the order. Wheeler can't seem to stay healthy. Yeah, Vargas, is healthy unless he has a freak injury. You know what you're getting with him. Wheeler, to me, maybe you can use him in the 6th, 7th innings. There's an insurance policy in case Matt struggles or gets injured.
I feel like the best guys that I feel like would be suited for bullpen and might give the least gripe would be Wheeler and Gazelman. It's just a feeling. I feel like Mats would never adapt to being a bullpen guy, being a lefty starter. Vargas. Vargas you could put in the pen. He's 35. He should know his role at a certain age. But you're not going to put a 2-year, $16 million guy to throw your 6th inning or be a mop up role.
So let me throw this at you.
Go ahead.
Thoughts on a 6-man rotation? I don't see it personally. But there were reports that surfaced about a 6-man rotation because you have an abundance of arms.
See, I don't want to do a 6-man rotation because what that winds up doing is affecting
DeGrom.
Noah. Yeah,
and you don't want that.
I'm not trying to affect these guys. So just so we can have one other. It's just you're asking for too many issues once you start adding a 6th man.
Mickey Callaway is the pitching whisperer, so
I like that. He's getting high praise. He is, and we got Big Dave Island,
former Yankee pitching coach right there.
But he's a World Series champion, so I'm glad to have him on board. See what he can bring rather than Worth and waddling out there to the mound every day. The Worth and Waddle. No, but 17. I hear you on Gazelman, but at 17 everybody was awful, and I feel like it's kind of just a wash. And what I'm really looking at for Gazelman and Lugo is what they did in 16. Really pushing for something significant, being a playoff berth, where they didn't shy away from the moment, and kind of what I've seen early in spring. Gazelman, 8 2/3 with a 3.12, and Lugo what 8 1/3, 2.16. Lugo's been looking filthy.
He was good.
And then when I see Mats, I don't want to just start spitting off numbers, but this is a high one. 3 starts in spring. He's had 10 runs in 5 2/3. He couldn't even get out of the first inning one time. So here he's 15.88.
That's pretty high.
And he's just getting lit up. He's getting lit up.
That's never a good sign.
And then Wheeler, I haven't really gotten into Wheeler yet. Basically,
He's always hurt.
He missed 15 and 16 with injuries, and really Tommy John. 17 he went down early with injuries, but I just feel like I'm watching the same game every time I watch Zach Wheeler. I feel like I'm constantly watching 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 walks, 3 to 4 runs. Every single time I watch Wheeler. First of all, he walks more batters than any of the guys I named. I just can't stand walks. He's a career 4 walks per 9 innings. It's too high. You can't be walking 4 guys every time you're out there.
The one thing with Wheeler, though, I believe he has never come out of the bullpen yet.
He has not. I don't think he has. I think you're right on that.
So if he were to be shipped into the bullpen, how would he react? Would he check out?
A lot of these guys have got a lot of egos.
Egos have to be in check.
I mean, you take any of these guys and put them on another team, the chances are they're going to be in a starting rotation. That's the issue. You have a ton of 4 or 5 guys with only, like I said, 7 guys, but only 2 spots. So I mean, it's really going to be interesting. I want Lugo Gazelman.
Now, again, let me throw this at you. Should one of these arms have been traded for a piece that you need?
So early on, this is where I feel like this offseason is where the Mets should have moved Mats. I feel like his value is only going to depreciate. I feel like as he keeps getting these ailments and going on the DL, it's only going to hurt him. Especially the way he came into spring, just getting absolutely lit up. There were early talks about the Mets and for McCutchen, but they also wanted like Conforto or Nim, I forget which. There were so many talks about taking one of our big outfielders, and we said no, that's too much. But I feel like you could have included Mats in something, whether it was getting a second baseman or a third baseman, rather than signing Frazier. Yeah, rather than signing Frazier, who's hitting 200 on the nose.
And that's probably all you'll get out of him.
Exactly. That's why
215 if you're lucky.
Yeah. But I felt like this was the season to move Mats. I'm kind of just down on Mats with the injuries and just the highest ERA over 6 is alarming last year, and just especially the way he came out of spring. Other than that, I feel like I know a lot of people see a lot of upside in Lugo. I would hate to see Lugo go. I
think I would keep Lugo over Montero if I had to.
Yeah, Montero.
He's an enigma.
He's gonna be a long man, or he's just gonna run out of options. I think that's really what it is. I think he's really just run his course. But again, I want to see Lugo and Gazelman. I feel like the Mets will do Lugo as your 5 starter and Vargas as your 4. I feel like you got to do that with Vargas just because of the deal you signed with him, and it's kind of like there's your safety net.
He could be recovering. No, not recovering.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting what they have to do. So say it is Vargas and then Lugo. It's gonna be interesting what they have to do with Mats, Gazelman, and Wheeler, whether it's in the bullpen, because that's a lot of starters to have in your bullpen, or they're going to be in Vegas. And these guys have been up for too long. It's kind of like a slap in the face. It really is. But
what I meant to say, Vargas should be maybe is rejuvenated into a finesse pitcher a la CC Sabathia. Maybe he's on the path to getting better as he ages.
Sabathia is a crazy story, man. He's somebody who looked like he was so done to come back the way he did last year.
And what I don't understand is how you're against. You may see it that they're gonna do. The Mets will put Vargas in the rotation, but how are you against that? I don't know.
I'm against.
You have been crying for 2 years that you need stability
in
the rotation.
I am against it initially. So the second one of these guys go down, parade Vargas out there. But I feel like you can get better numbers and better starts out of these two guys, barring they don't go down because of injury. I just don't want to use the safety net initially. It's a safety net for a reason. It should be a safety net for a reason. But
then why pay him all that money?
Well, that I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have went and gotten him. But I feel like that's what we're gonna do. Vargas is your 4 and Lugo as your 5, because Lugo was the best last year out of the terrible outings, and he's having a great spring. So
it'd be pretty interesting to see how 2 rookie managers are going to take the biggest market,
the reins of New York.
See what happens. And that's it for our debut show. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be sure to check out next week's episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our iTunes, our SoundCloud, and please give the Goombas a follow on our Facebook and on our Twitter @WeAreTheGoombas.
Hey.
Goombas gone. A salute.